to Speak Out Loud. It's been a while, but we're back with season 2 and we're ready to speak out loud. But before we do that, do me a favor and subscribe to our channel just to keep up with the upcoming episodes and what we have in store. Today, we're going to kick off season 2, episode 1 with, I want to title it like, what I called it, hood trauma?
Yeah,
hood trauma. And in a professional realm, urban trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And today I have here with me my lovely co-host and guest, LeVar. I'm sure his face is familiar. He's been on season 1 and he's back again to help me out. So thank you, LeVar,
Thanks for having me.
coming back.
No problem.
And we're just gonna jump right into it. As always, why wait? So I wrote something and I want to share it just so I won't miss any of the subjects that we're going to talk about. And it states that men are expected to be strong, show no emotions. Emotions will get you killed. In other words, make a man unfocused, trick them, devour them, however they may, think it would affect them if they show, their emotions. So how do you navigate through life with this stigma against you from early childhood? It's not enough that people outside your home is telling you this, but it's starting at home. Years of suppressing and masking things that hurt you physically and emotionally. These things that were seen, heard, and done that became a part of your norm. Suppressing and masking all of this only shows up in your character, your communication, or the lack thereof, the way you treat others, the way you treat yourself, and so on. It's a gateway to the path you take as an adult. These things can cause a great deal of mental health issues without being aware of it. 1, because what is mental health to a guy from the hood? For sure. 2, talking about it won't change anything. Or 3, you're a man, so there's no space to feel, to communicate, to be real with yourself. LeVar, what do you think about that?
That's a lot.
And if we have to go back, we could go back and read it over.
You said about like the trauma and learning all of these things and how you cope with it.
Right. Starting from childhood. I think it starts from childhood.
You have to unlearn all that stuff.
Okay, so before we get there, just tell us a little bit about your childhood.
My childhood, I think, to me, was pretty normal. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't bad either.
Okay.
We moved from the projects when I was 5, from over town, moved to the city. And I didn't know that life was, not to say bad, like I said, it wasn't a bad life, but when things were bad, lights might be out,
right,
might be out, whatever. But as far as like, always had a roof over our head, always had something to eat. It wasn't probably a 5-course meal every time, but we had something to eat.
Wait.
Yeah, so, and I figured that everybody that I knew stayed in the neighborhood was doing the same thing, so it really wasn't I think that's at the time when we actually did have 3 classes. You had the upper class, middle class, and then you had poverty, which was,
Yeah.
you seen poverty now.
Most of what we saw.
Yeah,
right.
But we was like right there, not to say middle class, but it was right
under middle.
Yeah, we was right there. So
they missed the class.
Back then,
so
they would have called that the lower middle class.
The lower middle
so
class.
So you got, but I thought that everybody had the same struggles. We did, at least in my eyes, everybody that we came up with, because we kind of damn near like family. So, that's my childhood really wasn't that bad. Now, things started getting traumatic as you got older. That's when you started losing people, losing family members because they got older. People get sick, or violence started kicking in, people getting shot and stuff like that. So, I seen quite a few things growing up as a teenager.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I meant to say that part because I did point out that in this episode, what we're considering childhood is like from when you're an infant to your adolescence. Now,
okay, so from infant to adolescence, so from infant to teenager almost, right?
Right, like right before a teenager. So
right
those are your good years, and then you were going to speak on like when you grow up. So when you grow up, when you say you grow up, for me, I'm thinking like young adult, so teenage to
believe it or not, that's when I first started experiencing loss.
Okay.
You know, I remember I had a cousin that drowned in front of me. Family members started passing away. A couple of times I was I was there and I saw people take their last breath. So my childhood, believe it or not, was not to say trauma, but I saw
You saw a lot.
I saw a lot, but it wasn't bad though. And then once I got into what you would call adulthood, so we'll call that what, 18, 19?
Right.
Shit, I went to the military. So I didn't, what I call normal, other people won't call normal. A lot of people that I knew went to school coming from Miami, period. Military wasn't big back in 2002. It wasn't a big thing. They had a problem with getting people from like
Right.
Miami, big cities and stuff like that. You usually find a lot of people from, I met people from all kinds of parts of America I never even knew existed. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I know what it is. That's my phone just talking. No, so yeah, I met people from like all over the world. Like people from little ass parts of Louisiana. I'm talking about small parts of Nebraska and stuff like that. And then you had military families, like people that this is what they do. They graduate, they go to the military. They don't go to college. This is what they do. And they got a long line. They got
military.
Granddaddy was a lieutenant colonel this. And
Right.
uncle was a major that, and you know, so I was so my 20s was growing up was like, okay, now we starting to have fun. And then unfortunately I got deployed. Right in the heart when shit was actually going down. That wasn't fun, at least not for me. I don't have one of those, oh yeah, I kicked down those and we did.
Right.
Nah. I ain't built for war. You know what I'm saying? That's when my perception about life started changing for me. And then that was like the springboard to where I'm at now. You know.
So how old were you when you came back?
22, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like 22 years old when I came home from the service. I got out in 2006.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did my 4 years, got out, and then I got bored. When I first got out, I didn't have nothing to do. I hadn't lost. Actually, I didn't lose contact because everybody was still in place. The hood was still, everybody was still there. Remember, we all young, so we between the ages of like, you're really talking about probably 17 up to people that's like in their 30s now.
I probably was around the 8, 17.
That's what I'm saying. So now you're talking about, and then you remember, all of us used to hang together. When
Right.
parties started going down and all this kind of stuff.
Lord Jesus.
That was like, that's when
Definitely I
everybody,
was 18.
yeah, that's when everybody started having kids and all that kind of stuff. So we was hanging out. We was outside. You know, we was everywhere doing everything. And then I guess you get to the point where we at now. So I remember what I said, my experiences from the military, a lot of that stuff shaped me. Like, when you start seeing the world, you start seeing how people operate different. You know, my first time seeing somebody pray 7 times a day, facing east and all that kind of stuff. Buddhists, you talking about a religion, them people really deeply rooted. Like, they strong on belief. You would think Christianity, man, nah, like Christianity ain't really, it's big, but when you look at some of these other religions, like, yo, these people hold true to what it is. Like, for real, they deeply rooted.
They are.
So a lot of that, and I started I always questioned things from a child. I always questioned everything. But then really I started like, hold up, nah. So this person doing this person doing that. Who's right?
Right.
Who's wrong? Ain't no right, ain't no wrong. So it's like,
Perception.
well, what do you follow? You know, so, and then I ain't gonna lie, a lot of that was like from the military, from that time right there was like the building blocks, what I would call for what my view on life is today. So, and then I guess like, you know, we get to where we at now, almost 40. I'll be 40 next year. So,
It's a blessing.
yeah, it is. Like, it truly is a blessing. I just had a coworker, one of my employees last night lost her son. Her only son. So it's like, damn. And I don't think he was 30. He was young, you know, so to get back on course, yeah, like I said, so being an adult now, a lot of the stuff that was, I could say from adolescent and then that the young adult phase.
Mhm.
That was the part that stuck with me the most. So I'm gonna say from ages 15 to 26.
Okay.
That was like some them 11 years, right? That's 11 years. That was very important. Those years right there was very important for me. I can't speak for nobody else.
Okay.
So,
How so?
like I said, loss, when you
Right.
start taking losses and I guess you incorporate, like, now I'm traveling, I don't got my mom on my back, I ain't got
Right.
nobody to tell me, hey, you need to get up. No, these things that you gotta do.
Right.
And if you don't do it, it's consequences for it. It's like not being a college student, you ain't gotta go to class.
Right.
I had to go
Told
do
you,
this.
PJ.
I got to go do that because now I got somebody in my face telling me to do it. And honestly, I think that was the best for me. I needed that shit
Okay.
because it made me realize I need structure more than anything. If I ain't got no structure, oh man, I have to plan my day out.
So when you came back, how was your mentality with getting back to, like you just said, like all of us grew up together, all of us was in the neighborhood. So when it comes to the trauma that I'm speaking about, like the hood trauma, the urban trauma, the people around you, like you said, your childhood was, fairly nice, but
Yeah,
then you have those around you
it wasn't so
that
nice.
it was different.
No, it was different.
So, like when it comes to that, like how do you see their mentality versus yours, and not necessarily to compare, but just to point out like the different things that your brothers are, that's what you would call them,
Yeah.
your friends, your brothers are experienced that, because you said you're an observer, you learn from it. So they may have done something that you decided, like I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Just in that area, like how did you navigate through that?
Okay, so you say the hood trauma.
Yeah.
We pretty much all experienced that. But then once I went away, there was things that I wasn't experiencing no more.
Mhm.
But I got these brand new experiences, still some loss, but now my eyes are more open because I'm traveling more. I'm seeing parts of the world. I'm 18, 19 in countries that I never thought I'd ever see, ever. So you got to think about it. Somebody 19 still at home versus somebody 19
That's
that's
traveling the world.
you in China.
Right.
You about to, next thing you know, you telling you got to get back on your boat because y'all finna swing by to Australia. You like, damn, you finna do what?
Right.
So yeah, that was very different. So my perception, like I could say the hood trauma gonna always be the hood trauma because it's always the same. I think nothing really changes is that you add a camera to it. Cameras are now a part of everybody's life.
True.
Because the police always been a problem. Drugs always been a problem.
True.
Hell, shit, where we from, prostitution has always been a problem.
True.
So you can literally leave and then come back in 4 years and see the same people in the same place.
True.
So
So how do you think they can, move from that? And for me, like I said, one of the questions was, one of the hardest things for a black man to say is, I'm not okay.
that's hard. It took me years to say that because I had the stigma. So all right, so when I first came home from the service, I definitely did feel, even though it was all love from everybody, but I still felt like an outsider because now I got these feelings that I don't even know what the hell going on with me. I'm having nightmares and stuff like that, and it's like I literally don't have nobody who I could talk to that can relate to me right now, And it was like, and then I lost my uncle. So my uncle at the time, he was an important piece like when I first came home from service because he understood. My uncle, he served in Vietnam. He was in the Air Force, so he understood what was going on so I could talk to him. He was my confidant.
Right.
When he passed, I had nobody. So now I got the hood right there, but it's still like I can't talk to them because at the time, we young still, so jokes being thrown and stuff like that,
Right.
and it's like, yeah, y'all might joke about it, but I ain't joking about it because I really don't know what the hell going on.
Right.
So it was something that I never even disclosed until maybe, believe it or not, when I got like maybe 33. And I've been knowing, that's like, I'm 38 right now.
So with that being said, like how did you notice a change in your behavior within those years until you at least recognize it?
It took time, isolation. not wanting to talk about nothing. Didn't even know I was depressed as hell. Didn't even know it. Didn't even know I had anxiety. I'm in certain situations and I start sweating, my pressure going up, and it's like, well, what the fuck going on?
Right.
I got a dip. So it was times where you could ask Shaw, like, man, why you just left? I had to get up out of there, bro. And for years, and like like I said, it took till I was like 33. You talking about fighting with therapists for years. I'm talking about a long time. I rejected it.
Why is that? That's the way I'm going.
Okay.
Do you think it's like
Why?
a part of like your upbringing? Or,
yes,
okay.
hell yeah. They tell you that as a man, you ain't got like, nah, ain't nothing wrong with you. Just tough that shit out. Like,
Snap out of
like you ain't got time for that. And then guess what? When you start hearing that on the outside, remember this is what they tell you in the military. Hey, get up. Yeah, okay, yeah, we lost him. Let's grab him, put him. Hey, well, we still got a mission. What the fuck? Yo, that's different. But then as you start going through that more, it's nothing. It's all right. That's just part of what we do. So being in a situation like that, it kind of hardens you. It makes you hard.
Right.
Because you have to be nice for survival. You know, so.
Speak about it. That word, survival.
Yo, it's deep. It's actually tough, man. So you talking about trauma in the hood? I think it's easier now for any man to say, I'm not okay. But me personally, I feel like I still don't think it's acceptable.
Why not?
Because, man, it's being a man in the society that we live in now is more valuable than anything. It's like
So you saying it's more hurtful to you than anything to speak that out loud?
Believe it or not, yeah. Even with the whole agenda that's being pushed, I listen. I listen. I think,
because no matter what, that stigma is still against y'all.
Yeah, no matter what.
So that's like saying racism is going away. We know it's not going.
It's not going away.
I mean, I get it.
It's not.
But
that's just like LSU won the championship.
I love that.
Right? If Iowa would have won, would Jill Biden would have said that LSU played a great game and invited them to the White House too? It's a big if.
Yeah.
But we know that shit wasn't going to happen.
Right. They don't want to go that way. But I mean, I get it. But again, so how do you navigate through life like that? Like, we're surrounded by these people.
We do talk about it. Men, we do like amongst each other. Believe it or not, it's damn near like a therapy session.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
But to what extent? Because you having these conversations, right?
It get deep.
And it gets deep.
Yeah.
That's just like you having a normal conversation with me. That's just like me being a life coach. There's certain things that I cannot help you with. It's certain things that you need more attention to.
Exactly.
Like in those circles that y'all have, that y'all talk, do y'all speak up and say that to one another?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And yes. It's to the point now, once the therapy did start working for me, I start telling, hey, my man.
I need to go.
It done been times I have, hey, stop. That's heavy. Ain't nothing I can do with you with that. You need to go talk to somebody.
Right.
And then I can see why I get rejected. Because I remember for the longest, I'm not in your book. That was my favorite line. I'm not in your book. You're a college graduated student. You don't know nothing about me. You haven't been through none of the experiences that I've been through. Oh my God, don't be white. You white, so you'll never relate to me. Honestly, I ain't gonna lie. I didn't accept therapy until I got a black therapist.
I started with one.
No, I went through, you believe it or not, in the federal system, ain't too many of them.
And that was going to be my next question.
Ain't
because
too
how do
many
you
of them.
change the trajectory of that? Because,
you know how many,
again,
listen,
coming from where we coming from, we're
I
not doing
stood
hurt
on
to be in those positions.
And you're right, it's hard. I stood on it. I don't want to get help until I got a black therapist. And it was to the point the VA was like, well, we can't, well, no problem. I'll go pay for somebody. Then the VA came out with something called the choice program, meaning I can go on the outside now and go find somebody. And y'all pay for it? Cool. And that's exactly what I did. So happily, the girl she was going through a residency at the VA. Oh man, I made sure I got on her calendar. And she helped me through a lot. She did. And she made me understand that it's not about her telling me what to do. It's about her equipping me with tools to handle a situation, to handle this. Breathing exercises, all that shit at work. I'd have been through anger management, coping.
Oh, right. That was gonna be my question. Like, what are some ways, like, you know, people from where you from? What are some ways that they used to cope with unprofessionally?
Unprofessionally?
Yes.
Drugs.
Okay.
Drugs is the number one way to escape, and and guess what? That's for all classes of people. Everybody got a vice. You know, you got some people, they get off work, first thing they do is smoke a joint. You got some people, first thing they do, they might go take a bump of some cocaine or whatever they do. Whatever it takes for them to unwind. Drugs is the number one escape. Mine, working out. Upset. Yeah, when I get upset about something, especially like yesterday, yeah, it's time to throw some weights around. But boy, this is some bullshit. You know, so it's like, but then when you think about it, you're tired now, you know, it's like, all right, unwind. Just chill, because you can't control it. So, but to get back on subject, coping unprofessionally or somebody, or the wrong way, I guess we call it.
Yeah.
It's the drugs and alcohol and all that kind of stuff. But good ways is, talking about it. Because it took me a long time to get to this point. I never thought I'd be a person that'd open up about how I feel or whatever, because it's viewed as a sign of weakness. I know that I'm not weak.
How did you get to that point?
Therapy and just believing in me, being more confident in myself. That's it. So, and once you just start, I like to have a lot of shit going on. I like to have, not to say a lot, but I like to have shit going on in the back, so to keep me occupied, keep me going, keep my mind. I can't be an idle mind. An idle mind is dangerous.
It is.
So as long as I'm working on this in the background, I got this going on, and then you still got your kids, and then now you involved with your kids. My daughter, she ride bicycles and all that, so it's like, yeah, we gotta be on it. We gotta do this.
Keep you on your feet.
Yeah, so it's like, that's what's needed. I need that. So that's what helped me escape. And then I ain't gonna lie, at the end of the day, I got my fellas. I got the guys. You know, we sit around, we gonna joke, but then when we know we need to talk about something,
we can talk about it.
But that's us older. That wasn't us younger. We wasn't the same people. I don't even think I probably was a person that you wanted to talk to if I was 26. Hell no. Jokes and playing and no.
Me either. You was 26, I probably
we worrying about going
20.
Yeah, we worrying about shit. Boy, let's go to Iguanas. Yeah. Let's go catch happy hour real quick. So that's what we was worried about. And we was, at the time, thinking about it, we wasn't doing nothing but suppressing a lot of stuff. So
yeah, I used one of those words. So why do you think men suppress their feelings?
Because don't nobody want to hear that shit. Honestly.
I was gonna say that. So people just think you don't care, and some people say it out loud. Like, we don't want to hear that. Like, don't tell your story, or people don't want to hear that.
You got a lot of women.
I don't think that is true in every circumstance, because you speaking right here today about, you know, the things that we're talking about, that may help another brother out.
True.
You know, it may gear them towards, like you said, they may not be going through something, but what you saying may prevent them from going through that exact thing.
So you trying to tell me if a man came up and opened up to you and he began to cry, you wouldn't view him differently?
No.
You wouldn't. There's a lot of women out there.
But again, that comes with growth.
That comes with growth, again. But it's a lot of women out there that tell you, I don't want no crying man. A crying man is a weak man. I heard that plenty. You still hear that now. And where we at right now, the climate that we in, so.
But as a man, how do you decide, like, enough is enough, like, regardless of what society is saying? Because this is the point of this episode, because with all this stuff going on, with everything what society telling you is, with the stigmas, with everything against you, your self-care and your ability to care for yourself is not just about you at the end of the day, because you have your family, you have, like, other people looking up to you, you have your kids, like.
But you know what, you gotta be selfish. Because
sometimes you got to get to a point to be selfish to get yourself together.
Honestly, you should always be selfish, because guess what? No matter, I'm gonna tell you, it's how you say it, right? And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why you should always be selfish about you, because it all begins and ends with you, no matter what. No matter how good you want to be, to something or somebody else, it still starts with you.
It still starts with you.
So no
at the
matter
end of
what,
the day, you
it
have
may
to-
sound like I'll never forget. Like when I was in the Navy, they'll tell you your list of
I
responsibilities
know I didn't
was.
start down this fine.
Yeah, I tell you your list of responsibility is ship, no God, ship, then self. I was like, y'all crazy as hell.
True.
I was like, y'all crazy as hell. I come first before all that because I got to get through this. At the time when I was like, yeah, God, yeah, all that, yeah, let's do it. But the ship,
No, so my perspective from that, God, self, and then everything else is because when I can't count on myself, what am I looking to, you know, to count on?
yeah. See, and that's another thing when it came to when it comes just to religion, period. I understand now that you have some people that just, they need something to lean on.
Yeah.
You know, some people choose self. Some people go to a higher power. As long as you got something to go to, I think you'll always be all right.
True.
Yeah, I think you always, as long as you got something to go to and you stay true to it, I think you'll always be all right.
So again,
Okay.
you ain't answer my question.
I'm sorry. What's the question? What's the question?
How do you get out of that suppressing, out of that, like, at what point do you say, like, okay, like, it's time for me to get help?
Oh,
At what
Oh,
point?
you trying to go there?
This is real. This
No,
is what I'm
alright,
saying. At what point do you say enough is enough? Like you had to go away. It took, like you said earlier,
No,
it
it took more than that.
well,
It took more than that. For me, my moment.
right. I remember you shared something
Okay.
very confident
Okay.
with me.
Okay.
I don't
So
know
you
if you
remember
really
that?
want to go there.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my moment right there. That's when I said, "This is it." Like, no, enough is enough. I can't put my family through that. You know. So that was my defining moment right there for me.
Again, so you're thinking about
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah,
and
but
that's
guess
what I mean.
what?
It
In
goes
that moment, you
beyond-
didn't.
You
though.
don't.
You don't.
You can't.
But when
It's
something that's
impossible.
supposed to happen don't happen, then it's like,
Right.
what the heck? All right.
It
Okay.
goes beyond you, because it's, at the end of the day, it's not just about you. So how are you going to show up for your family? You just said, I can't put my family
But okay,
through
so
that.
you said how to get through it.
Not how to get
No.
through it, like,
When you say
And-
enough is enough, you
Yeah.
have to, well, not to say unfortunately, but you gotta put yourself out there and just say,
you have to feel.
I'm
Nobody
not,
don't want to
what you
feel.
said? I'm not okay.
I'm not okay. I think that's what it's
But
called.
that shit is hard.
It
It
is.
is not easy at all.
Men and women are different, so okay, granted.
Because see,
so it's
women,
easy if
women are
it's
taught to
not
learn.
really-
Women are taught at a very early age how to regulate their emotions. What they tell us as boys: if your little girl fall, what you do? Oh, get up, baby.
True.
Your little boy fall, he be alright. Get up, hey, yeah, get up. And over time, you
But these are
It's
the
a
things.
catalyst.
These are the things that I'm talking about that need to
Yeah.
be a little broken up.
some of it,
Some of it.
not all of it.
No,
because
I agree. Some things
This
you have to
society,
learn.
well,
No,
this
you
society
got you.
hell right now, boy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take
you
a drink
know.
on that one, boy. Man.
Look, me and Amir about to get a bubble, and we're gonna be out. PJ not coming with us. You're not coming with us, right?
Nah.
No. Me and Amir gonna get a bubble, and we're gonna be out. Yeah, cause
I'm
this.
trying to move out by the time I'm like 20.
Yeah, see.
Yeah, so.
But yeah,
Yeah,
so that
it's
is my
taking-
point.
It's
because
opening up and like really, I'm
you
talking about.
have to, because
You have
it's
to be
so
vulnerable. You
much-
have to be.
This that goes back to trauma. It's so much trauma. It's some of the things that become our norm that we don't even recognize that is trauma.
Yeah, it's tough.
It becomes our norm. Drugs are our norms.
Drugs are the norm.
Guns are our norms.
It is the norm.
Somebody getting killed by us is our norm.
It's the norm. The cost of it,
It's our norm.
it's our norm, but it's not normal.
But how do you? It shows up in your relationships. It shows up in the way you communicate or don't communicate. That goes back to what I said at the beginning.
It does. Like I
Yeah,
said,
back to the situation.
it
at
get
hand.
weaponized against us, and guess what? It's like when we now usually that's the shit we don't even tell our homeboys. Or if
Because
you
y'all
do,
don't
and if
wanna
you
be
got a group of
judged.
dogs, if you got a group of homies, you might tell one. But then when we tell you that, we feel most confident with you. But then guess what? situation, it's argument
It
now.
sounds like a lose-lose situation.
It do. See? So it's
Because-
like at the end of the day, you as a man, what you rather do? I'd rather not say nothing.
Keep your guard.
I'm gonna just keep that to me. I'm gonna keep that to me because I can't show her that. Because you probably done did or said something that made me lose my trust in you.
That's different.
Because you don't weaponize it against me. That's only when you do that.
Well, that's for another episode with women because
That's we can go there now.
because it's true, and I guess I'm so passionate about it and so hard on it because I'm not like that, but I'm just one person.
You are one out of probably, let's to put a real number, 15 maybe, and that's bad. You 1 out of 15, and that's just saying that you get it.
I really just want people to live out their full potential. It's
Yeah.
like make better decisions. Is
A lot of
and
people.
I don't think you can without unraveling some of that stuff. Not necessarily saying you have to speak to a woman about it,
No.
but I think it would help you better communicate within that relationship with a woman.
I think now I got tools. I'm better equipped to deal with a relationship now more than ever. Because I ain't gonna lie, the power of the internet. You got TikTok, Instagram, everybody giving out game. But then it's up to you to really decipher on what's good.
For
Because
you.
for you, because you
I
got
wish
so
people
much.
understand that. 'Cause
Oh my goodness, you got so many people out there
everything
that's just
is
giving
not
out
right.
bad information. And they're giving it from their perception.
Exactly.
Until you find somebody or something or whatever it is, and it's like, I agree with that. And then you can really back it up with something, and then you take off from there.
Yeah, if y'all ever hear me saying you should do this or you should do that, let me know because I don't.
Yeah, you
I
can't
don't
tell.
I want to
yeah.
be careful with those words because at the end of the day, I could give my advice and tell you what worked for me, but ultimately you have to try it.
It's to the point I don't even want to give advice now. Believe it or not.
Yeah, you're right because the things I'm doing, that's why I bring people together and y'all can talk amongst each other
Yeah, because it's.
and we can figure out, I'll take that piece what she said, I'll take that piece what he said and put it together and see if it works.
And that's kind of what I do. I don't just go by what somebody say.
Right.
All right, you said, then now it's time for me to do my homework. Let me see if this is really what it is, if you a person that's really like that, that kind of stuff like that. Because you got people that they'll tell you everything that you want to hear, but in the background, they doing the total opposite.
True.
So
True.
you got to be careful of that. And I think you just got to have your own, what we'll call it, intestinal fortitude maybe,
Yeah.
to say this is what's going, this is
Intuition
what,
for women.
yeah, this is what's right, this is what I'm going to do, and that's the path that I'm going to go on. So I think you got to look at it like that.
Okay. Finally, lastly, what advice would you? Well, we just said you don't like to give advice, so.
Oh, shit, yeah. Okay, no, go ahead. Advice.
Okay, let's not say advice.
No,
what,
don't tell-
what would you say? Okay, we could put it like this. What would you say to a fellow friend or something? Uncle,
No,
cousin.
the question was what? Advice.
Like advice when it
What-
comes to, like we said, we had the conversation about, just being vulnerable or saying I'm not okay, suppressing, getting past those things, or just taking care of your mental health, opening up. Like you rejected therapy for a long time,
Yeah.
and honestly, therapy won't work for everybody. In my opinion, it won't. But you have to start somewhere. You have to at least try, and that's just my opinion. So, what's your opinion? See, we
My
say
opinion.
advice, we'll say opinion.
My opinion on or my advice that I would give someone, right? On just
Yeah,
trying to
however you wanna.
walk the path, what, just doing the right thing or what?
Not even doing the right thing for you. Like you said, you have to be selfish. Doing the right thing for you, so you can ultimately take care of the people around you and yourself. Like I said, my sole purpose of touching on these type of subjects is to see people live out their full potential. Like get the help that they need. Like when you look in the mirror, be okay with that person.
So advice that I would give someone, I guess on this thing that we call life. That's a deep ass question.
Yeah.
Know your purpose.
That's a big one. Yeah.
And that's a hard one. You have to
Yes.
really, I think Jordan Peterson said it best. You sit on the edge of the bed and you ask yourself the questions, what am I doing wrong? No matter what, you can lie to me, you can lie to him, but you can't lie to yourself. Once you have a conversation like that with yourself, and I believe once you find your purpose, the path is clearer. Like I
agree.
I was telling
Yes, so
somebody,
we're
right?
here now.
I was telling somebody, bro, think about it. The things that you did 10 years ago, you're not doing no more. You're not doing right now.
Give yourself a pat on the back.
Yeah, hell yeah. So it's like, yo, don't feel bad about a choice that you make that's bettering your life.
Right.
So I would tell anybody, find your purpose. You know, find out who you are truly. What do you want? Not what other people want for you.
Right.
Not what do you want, and ask yourself that as a genuine question. What do you want? What do I want? And I think from there,
I think that's how you build on life with
Yeah.
others around you.
yes, and I believe your path will get clearer. I think I'm talking about you'll start cutting certain things out your life, certain people out your life. You go on a diet. You don't just diet just to eat. You have to diet on what you listen to, the things that's around you, what you put inside you. Because they tell you start up here, but it really start in your stomach. You know, which is a whole other subject.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's you find your purpose, and I think from there life get easy. It gets better. You know, so that's the advice that I would give anybody.
Well, thank you again for being the first guest on season 2.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers to that.
Can't wait till we do this again.
Until next time, subscribe, comment, like, and share.
Peace.